Hello everybody, welcome to another edition of BrainScratch Searchlight. I'm your host John Lorden, and today we're going to look into a case that is not getting very much coverage, doesn't seem to be getting much attention, possibly even from the people that should be investigating it. So I thought it was really important to try to raise awareness to it and bring it to all of your attention. And I want to thank Sunday Marie for sending this information to me. She told me that her friend is basically trying to be a one-woman campaign to raise attention to this, and hopefully we can help her with that. So today we're looking at the case of Gary Joseph Youngblood, who has been missing since July 22nd of 2016. He is missing from Roanoke Rapids, North Carolina. He is a white male, born on June 13th of 1988, meaning that he disappeared at the age of 28. He's got brown hair, green eyes, 5'10", 150 pounds. Scars, marks, and tattoos. There is an unknown tattoo on his neck, and I've seen a few pictures. You can see it actually in this picture just a little bit. It is on his right side, and it looks like it might be some type of small writing, some type of word over there, but I haven't been able to find any additional details specifically on what's written there. He also has a large tattoo across his stomach that says Youngblood. Details of disappearance: he was last seen walking down his driveway towards the 158. And his case remains unsolved. They have the investigative agency here as Halifax Sheriff's Office with a phone number. And of course, I will also include contact information in the description box below in case you think you can help with this case as well. So particularly if you live in North Carolina, I want you to keep your ears and eyes out for this guy. But as we go through the information, we might find out that he could be somewhere else potentially as well. Thankfully, there is a NAMUS profile for him. However, as you can notice here, the profile strength, it says, is low to medium. And quite honestly, I would probably rate it even lower than that. This is one of the weakest NAMUS profiles that I have ever seen. One of the big things that's missing in this case is a timeline. Even the time of his disappearance, I'm seeing some notes where it says around July 22nd. The officers heard about it August 5th, I believe, so there's some things that are misreported that he actually went missing August 5th. I get the feeling that he has a lot of family that cares about him, but I don't know if they were particularly close or like lived logistically close to each other. So there seems to be a bit of a gap in knowledge in terms of potentially when he disappeared and the circumstances around that. But there are a few details we're going to be able to pull out of all this. So under the circumstances tab, we get a little bit of detail here. Subject was last seen by his boss on or around July 22nd, 2016. Once again, no real information outside of the basics of his hair and eye color. Mentions the tattoo on the right side of his neck. Actually here they don't even mention the tattoo of Youngblood on him. For clothing, believed to be wearing a black shirt and blue jeans. No other clothing description is known, so we have nothing for footwear, jewelry, eyewear, accessories. No transportation method noted, so I don't even know if he had a vehicle. Is that also missing? Seems like it isn't. If the story we're getting is that he disappeared while he was walking down his driveway, I would assume that he's on foot. They don't have dental information on him. It looks like for DNA they have reached out, but they don't have the DNA collected for him yet. No fingerprint information for him, which, once again, if it is law enforcement that entered this record, I don't know why they don't have fingerprint information, because I believe he has a little bit of a record already, so they should have his prints on file. So once again, I don't know why this profile is so light in terms of detail. And this is something that really blows my mind. There is no investigating agency listed here. Now, what's strange about that is when you start, and I've mentioned this in videos before, anyone can start a NAMUS account and try to submit a case. They ask you at that point for this information. Apparently, the person working this case is law enforcement, so he added this, but he didn't add any information about who should be contacted if there are tips or information for this case. Now, outside of that, once NAMUS takes this case on, there is a caseworker, and usually they will attempt to try to fill in some of these blanks, get this information going. I don't know why they don't have this info filled in here either. So I've been getting kind of friendly with someone that works over at NAMUS. I'm going to shoot this video to them. Hopefully they can help at least get this page cleaned up, because I do believe that we have some contact information for who should be working this case, but there might be some problems with that, which we'll get to by the end of this video. Jumping over to Facebook, there is a Finding Joe Youngblood page that has been started here. I have gone through it all. It's pretty light, guys. I got to be honest with you. There are many pictures of him, which is great. A couple of short kind of video montages of him, which is certainly helpful. But once again, we get really no additional. Here's a little bit of detail we didn't have from the other poster. His wallet was found at Murphy's USA in Roanoke Rapids on August 23rd of 2016. And I did pull up a map on that. But quite honestly, I don't even know how to use this information, because I'm not sure, for example, where he worked, where that boss that supposedly saw him was. It could have been in this area. It could have been at Murphy's. He could have worked there. I'm just totally unsure. But outside of that, there is really no additional detail to be found here at the Facebook page. So if a family member of Joe's is watching this, I ask that you guys try to get whatever information you have specifically about the timeline leading up to him disappearing. Try to get that stuff here, even if it's rumors of that. Facebook is kind of a good place for that type of information to go up, that you're not super solid if it's accurate or not. And in particular, in cases like that, you never know. It could be that little nugget that jars someone's memory, and they're like, oh, actually, I do remember this guy. I did see him there that day. So if this video is seen by whoever's managing this Facebook page or a friend of theirs, please, please, please encourage the family to get together. Maybe try to contact former friends of his. Try to figure out what he was doing the day before he disappeared. Try to make some type of timeline, no matter how little it is, and get it posted here, because that could certainly help jog other people's memory. Jumping over to ncmissingpersons.org, they also have a profile on him. It looks like it was created September 22nd. Once again, just echoing all the same basic information. This one does mention the tattoo of Youngblood across his stomach. It does once again tell us that he was last seen walking down his driveway towards the 158. Finally, we get to some press reporting on him, but quite honestly, I've only found a very small number of articles. This is at a website called rrspin.com. And this article, first of all, here's a different picture of him. This article notes that the report that he was missing was received on August 5th, so you're looking at almost 2 weeks after he was last seen. First responders and law enforcement searched a wide swath of woods in the area of Sunset Crest Lane, with responders going on foot and by ATV. There is a follow-up article to this, which is basically that they did not find anything in those searches. Over at RR Daily Herald, we get a little more information from the RRPD captain, Bobby Martin. And Bobby here states that he's the one that has actually entered him into NAMUS, so I'm not sure why Bobby didn't list himself as the contact on that page, but outside of that, I know the last information that we had was he was going to leave our area, and he was thinking about going back to Alabama, where he is originally from. So once again, for his family, if you're watching this, try to track down what that information is about. Maybe even ask Captain Martin, who told you this? Maybe you should reach out to them, ask them where they heard this, what was he saying about moving, why was he moving? Was he moving to be closer to family? I mean, what was his motivation at that point? I think that might help potentially. Like I said, we're looking for information that can jog other people's memory. And I can tell you, I don't think I've ever seen a case with such little information put out, either by the family, by authorities, or by the media. So this case is already, I think, a bit tough just at a starting point. But I'm hopeful that you guys are hearing this, and maybe you can help your odds of actually finding him. Back to another article at rrspin.com, and this is where we get mention of his cousin, actually a woman that is married to his cousin named Leanne Bryant. And I believe she is the person that I was told about that is trying to stage a one-woman manhunt for him. Bryant has handed out flyers, and she and her husband go looking for him on their own. This article also mentions that he was reported missing from the old airport area of Roanoke Rapids on August 6th. I think they're a day late on that, but I don't know. Just very, very tough case, guys. There's not a lot of detail here. Now, his name also comes up in a different article from 2012. This is at elcodaily.com, and it essentially is talking about a car accident where he was not driving. He was a passenger in the car. The driver swerved to avoid a coyote. The car rolled, and they both needed to be treated medically. And that's pretty much all that comes up, at least in terms of this article. There's one more result that comes back if you search on his name, and it is from Quad Cities Daily. And it's basically a rundown of people being charged for crimes. And here we do have Gary Joseph Youngblood. We see the birth date is a match. And we have a handful of offenses here: pistol on others' premises, criminal trespass, 3rd degree. It looks like a breaking and entering into a vehicle. We've got a theft, miscellaneous charge, buying or receiving stolen property. You know, I know I've mentioned this in videos before. Not everyone has a perfect upbringing or a perfect past or a perfect history. And it's strange because there are many people out there that want to look at things like this and judge them right off the bat. And some people might look at this guy and look at these charges and say, well, hey, it's a good thing he's gone. You know, his family's probably better off for it. That is certainly not the case. What happens in cases like this is this person goes missing, and sure, maybe he didn't want to fess up to something. Maybe he had some other charges going on or a court date that he's trying to avoid or something like that. That's fine. We've talked about this at length in episodes. Everyone has the right in this country to disappear. But you have a family that's left behind with unanswered questions, and the big question of, is my loved one okay, or have they been harmed? And particularly here, where the guy's wallet has been found at a location, we don't know of any transportation of him to be able to, you know, up and leave on his own. How is he doing without that wallet? It's a really tough question to answer in terms of, is he truly okay? And even if you don't think that someone like this deserves your attention, his family certainly does, because the pain that they're going through is just as much, or might even be more, than whatever Joe himself is facing. So that's why, you know, sometimes when I learn about people while I look into these cases, I do my best to not be judgmental, particularly of things that they've done in their past. And even if they have things that they've currently done, just remember, it's not just about that one person. It's about all the other people that care about that person and what they're going through as well. As a matter of fact, a big reason why I decided to do this case today was because of this YouTube video that I found from an account called Antisocial Freak. Apparently this is a cousin of Joe's. I watched the entire video. She's very busted up. Unfortunately, she doesn't have a whole lot of more insight or information than I've already given you. The one thing she did say, which I did want to be sure to share with you, is he does have a history of being the type of person to run away, but not for a long period of time and not to stay out of contact. So that is where the family is really starting to become concerned, and that is why I decided to fire up the camera and to feature him on today's episode, despite the lack of information. So remember, if you are in the North Carolina area, or if you have friends in the North Carolina area, we really need to get some exposure to this out there. Please share this video with them. And then, according to Captain Bobby Martin here, he was thinking about going back to Alabama. So I'm also going to ask that if you have friends in Alabama, please share this video with them as well. Let's see if we can get more eyes, more ears, more people looking for Gary Joseph Youngblood, and maybe bring him home, or at least let his family know where he is if he's doing okay. If you do have more information on this case, please share it in the comments below. But if it is something that is along the lines of a tip, please use the contact information below. Get it to the authorities, get it to the right people that can act on it. I would say also send it to the Facebook page. I have some concerns about, is law enforcement really working this case that hard, or are they looking at his criminal history and saying, this is just a guy that's run away, and they're not paying it much attention. As a matter of fact, if you want to help in regards to that specifically, there is an online petition going on titled "A Plea for Halifax County Sheriff's Office to Investigate Joe Youngblood's Disappearance." And you can see it's only got 189 supporters. They're only trying to reach a goal of 1,000. You know, typically these Searchlight videos are viewed between somewhere like 3,000 and 6,000 viewers just within the first week. If you guys would be so inclined, I ask that if nothing else, you please come to this petition, check it out, see if it's something you can support, and if it is, get your name on this list. Maybe we can get some attention to this case and have the sheriffs look into this case a little bit deeper than I believe they currently are. Like I said, there is no timeline on this case, which makes me wonder if any investigation is going on. Media really isn't reporting on this case, which makes me believe there's probably no press conferences or anything like that going on. I think there are some steps that could be taken that might actually help put this family at ease. So please consider signing this. On top of that, there's also a GoFundMe, and we can see it is actually created by Leanne Bryant, the woman that is doing her best to try to find what happened to Gary. She also notes here, he took no clothing and he never picked up his last check from his boss. His wallet was found at a local gas station, but the surveillance camera showed that Joe hadn't been there. The same day that a missing person report was filed on Joe, someone created a fake Facebook page on him, leading us to believe that someone knows where Joe is and why he has disappeared. So I'll also have a link to the GoFundMe down below, and once again, on behalf of my wonderful Patreon supporters, I'm going to make a donation to this GoFundMe as well, and I just hope that it helps Leanne. We know if nothing else, she's printing up flyers. That is not free. There are certainly costs that are being incurred around this, and hopefully enough of you are also moved to possibly help with this, and maybe she can hire a private investigator to try to track him down. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for spending some time with me here on Searchlight. I hope each and every one of you and your families out there are staying safe, healthy, and happy. And please be sure to come back to the Lord and Arts channel, check out another show, and I'll see you there.